and welcome back to another segment of Burnt Coverage. I am your host, Joel.
And I'm Curtis.
And we are in week 5. And this segment, we are your go-to sources. Let me tell you what we do. We're your go-to sources for daily and weekly fantasy play. This segment's going to deal with running backs. Curtis, what do you think about running backs this week?
Nothing. I'm just going to skip this segment.
On to wide receivers.
No, I'll throw out a few names.
All right.
One of which is TJ Yeldon. So I'm not a closet Jaguars fan.
Liar.
Or an open Jaguars fan. I just happen to pick Jaguars because they're cheap every week.
Single week.
But I think they're going to pay off, and this is why. TJ Yeldon, DraftKings, 4,400. FanDuel, 6,600. Cheap. And playing my favorite team, the god-awful Tampa Bay Buccaneers. My favorite team is not the Jacksonville Jaguars. Tampa Bay Buccaneers are 30th against the run, which ain't good. TJ Yeldon has had 20 carries in 2 of the last 3 weeks. The only one he's missed with 20 carries was the New England game when they were behind by so much that they couldn't run the ball anymore.
16-0, called it.
Yeah, he did say 60-0 is 51-14 or 17 or something. Pretty damn close.
Another one I got right.
20 carries. I see that happening again versus Tampa. There's even a possibility that the Jaguars could be up in this game and be running clock down.
Could be.
Against the Bucs. It is at home. I give the Bucs are at home. I'll give them a little credit. There is no one else really to run the ball still. Denard Robinson's out. Gerhardt's back, kind of, but he doesn't really get any touches. One interesting note that I found, and I was actually surprised, even though I'm a Bucs fan, is the Bucs are 3rd in the league against the pass. I don't know how that happened because I watched games and been shocked to hear that. But Cam Newton threw for like 130 yards against them last week. I guess they just get so up with all of Jameson's picks that they don't need to pass the ball anymore. But it is something to note. So TJ Yeldon, I think, is a good play this week.
Yeah, I don't know. The funny thing, when 2 bad teams get together, they can score a lot of points against each other. So I think this will, at the very least, will be a fun game to watch. I don't know that I will be playing Yeldon. I think I will continue to roll the Alan Hearns train. Yeldon has had...
I created that fucking Alan Hearns train.
You created him. You're his father, and yet I am just the beneficiary of all things Alan Hearns related. Appreciate you.
Yeah, anytime.
I can't fault you for that pick. It's just not one I'll be making. I will be choosing, however. So this is going to hurt me. So last week I made a big deal how much it hurt me to choose Jason Witten as my tight end of the week, and it hurt me. And it hurt me because I chose him and then didn't win. So I'm going to go back to that well. I'm going to choose another Cowboy. This time, however, it's going to be Darren McFadden. All right, so we all know that Lance Dunbar went out with a terrible ACL injury last week. He was put on season-ending IR. Someone's got to fill that role. Lance Dunbar was the pass-catching back. Just Randall is between the tackles back, and Dunbar caught 10 passes the week before he got hurt. I really think that Darren McFadden is going to step in and fill that role. What was I going to say? So Christine Michael is a possibility to step in, and I think that is a dangerous possibility. But the problem with Darren McFadden has never been a question of talent. It's always been his ability to stay healthy and on the field. And he's been able to do so in a limited role this year. Granted, that role is about to expand, but I really think that he's the pass-catching back in this offense. And I don't think that the Cowboys want Joseph Randall's role to expand. I think they like him in the role that they have, and I think Randall's very comfortable in the role that they have with that offensive line. And if Darren McFadden can stay healthy, I think he's in for a really good payday against New England, because to keep New England's defense honest, they're going to have to start throwing the ball a little bit out of the backfield. Makes some sense. No, New England. Dallas, New England.
Dallas, New England?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was last week, sorry. This is my first day.
Yeah, no, we're talking about this coming week.
I'm still living in the past, my bad.
So, anyway.
You do your segment, I'll do mine.
DraftKings do not have kickers. So yeah, so I really think we're dealing with a very higher floor. It might not be the highest of ceilings, but I think it's a higher floor, especially for the price of $6,000 on FanDuel and $3,400 on DraftKings, which is $500 cheaper than the back that they just placed on IR. So if you want to play Lance Dunbar for $3,900 on DraftKings, you can do that. But I guarantee that Darren McFadden will score more points than Lance Dunbar this week.
Yeah, I'll make that bet with you too. I guess there's always hope, you know.
Yeah,
Maybe
and
come
it
back.
can happen.
Yeah, miracle cure. I feel like if you're digging at the bottom of the well, you can find somebody besides the old retread. And like you said, when you were talking, the first thing you said, Darren McFadden, I wrote down Christine Michael, which you addressed. I wrote down injury, which you addressed. So it's like you make a proposition. You're like, but.
Well, I know the risks, but for the price that you're getting. I really think this is going to be a very high scoring game. I think this is going to be a shootout. But I think that obviously New England takes it. But yeah, so my philosophy this week is I'm going very low on running backs because I'm really stacked in my wide receivers this week because I think there's some great plays on the higher end wide receivers. So I want 3 of those in my lineup, and I think there's some really good value to be found in the running back position, and I think Darren McFadden is one of them, especially in such a high scoring offense where I think he's a tad. I think he's very underpriced based on no one's really sure of the role. But if you've seen this show before, I kind of know when running backs are underpriced and are going to outperform their salary.
But I feel like in this case, it's more of a PPR based presumption.
Is DraftKings a PPR?
Yes.
Okay. And is FanDuel a half PPR?
Yes.
All right then.
But what you're saying is that Darren McFadden will be good because he will become the pass catching back.
Yes.
That's just a lot to assume. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I read trends. This is what I do for you, the public. And I believe that Darren McFadden is going to be good for 8 to 10 catches this week.
And like they say, when you assume, Joel's an asshole. I'll write that down.
They don't say that.
So Darren McFadden, inspired pick. How much is he? $3,600.
He's $6,000 on FanDuel and $34,000 on DraftKings.
All right, so bump it up almost $1,000, not quite $900. You get my guy, Todd Gurley. You might have heard of him. He was the 10th pick in the draft this year, and went from a guy injured that not many people wanted to have to a guy everybody wants to have because he rushed for 150 yards last week against an undefeated Cardinals team in Arizona. And guess what? This week he's going to Green Bay to face another undefeated team. And could this be the week that Todd Gurley becomes a superstar? Maybe. And here's why. Green Bay is only 21st against the rush. And so we assume that Green Bay is always up, and therefore teams are passing against them, but actually teams have had a lot of success running against them so far. And Todd Gurley is by far the Rams' best weapon. Second best weapon, throw a name out there, Jared Cook, Brian Quick, maybe he's back, Kenny Britt. Is this really the people are these really the people you want to rely on? No, it's Todd Gurley, of course. He's your first round draft pick, and he was just awesome. He's going to get the ball. Last week he got the ball for 19 times for 146 yards for 7.7 yards a carry, and he sucked in the first half. That was basically all second half production. So I see him probably pushing 20 carries, even if they're down, because he is their stud. And they're going to want to keep Rodgers off the field. That's just a given. So I see a lot of Gurley early, late, no matter what the score is.
Okay, there's a couple of things with your argument here. Todd Gurley might be a superstar. This guy was going to win the Heisman if he didn't blow out his being at Georgia, and he's amazing, yes. And the reason that Green Bay gives up so many is susceptible to the run is because they're usually up by 3 or 4 touchdowns, so they're not expecting anyone to run. So when you're playing a dime package, yes, you can run for 9 yards. And
so what happens when Gurley runs?
But no, because that's garbage. Because I used that same argument with Jamal Charles, and it didn't work out that way. And I will take Jamal Charles over Todd Gurley. I'm on record as being a huge Todd Gurley fan, but I just don't think this is the week. I think that yes, Todd Gurley is a phenomenal, special talent. But I think that this game gets out of hand really early. And it's just going to be a game flow thing for me. It has nothing to do with Gurley as a player. It just has to do with St. Louis's offense.
Even after what you saw last week at the price of $4,300.
Yeah, I mean, I know.
You're biased against.
Yeah, but it's the first half scares me. Like the second half that he had, yes, he had 3 20-yard runs last week in the second half. They were amazing. Like I was watching
over
that game.
20. I mean, one was 50.
Yeah.
So,
Well, 3 20+ yard runs. I was watching that game, and that first half, I was distraught. I was like, Todd Gurley's done. Like, yeah, I was wrong about that call, but no, the second half, he resurrected himself. He had an amazing game. But it worries me. I just think the game flow is going to take Todd Gurley out of it. I think, if anything, it'll be the Tavon Austin show, which, oh, God, kill me.
So you pretty much advise anybody in like a standard fantasy league too to just sit Todd Gurley this week. Like if you had him, you'd sit him.
I don't know. We filmed this on Wednesday. I will put in my lineup on Sunday.
Yeah. So obviously Joel does have Todd Gurley on his team,
and obviously someone else in the league wants him.
Yeah, and we'll work out a trade.
No, we won't.
Yeah.
But no, he's dirt cheap. But I think he's dirt cheap for a reason, because he did have a phenomenal game last week. But I just think that it's a game flow. There's no way St. Louis is in this game at all. I had a feeling they were going to beat Arizona last week. I don't think that they are
good call on that, by the way.
Anywhere in this game at all after the first quarter.
Okay.
So on to I'm Joel.
I'm Curtis.
I'm on the right side of the couch. As you all know, I know running backs. We've established this. You've won money off my calls of running backs. I've won money off my calls of running backs. And this is a call that I made in the preseason. Yes, if you've been paying attention, I'm going to say Ronnie Hillman this week. If you've been paying attention to the show, in the preseason, I said Ronnie Hillman was a better running back than C.J. Anderson, and I said that Monty Ball would be cut because Ronnie Hillman was a better running back than both of them. What happened? Monty Ball is no longer in Denver. I said by the end of the season, Ronnie Hillman would be the starter in Denver. This is the week that it happens. Ronnie Hillman had a great game last week. Granted, his stats were padded by that 172-yard run, but it was better than anything that C.J. Anderson had done up until this point. And now Gary Kubiak has finally started watching Bird coverage and has listened to me and has said that Ronnie Hillman deserves more carries. And so everyone is thinking that it's going to be a 50-50 timeshare. I am not of that opinion. I think this is the week that Ronnie Hillman, Gary Kubiak is a little more of a game. I think it's a little more gamemanship. And I think Ronnie Hillman easily outtouches C.J. Anderson this week. All right, so let's get to the stats. He's playing against Oakland. He went for over 100 yards last week. I don't have any more stats. That's it. So he's earned more, right? But I think that he's going against Oakland. He's in Oakland. I think this game is also a blowout. So I think that it's going to be a running game. It's an all second half running game, and it's going to be belonging to Ronnie Hillman. He's going for the dirt cheap price of $6,600 on FanDuel, $4,900 on DraftKings, and again, this is the week Ronnie Hillman lives up to what I've been saying for a month and a half now.
Oh, Joel, how many ways can you be wrong this week?
About running backs, I can't be.
On this pick, you can be.
I am the Midas of running backs.
Because, as we know, Gary Kubiak loves his running backs,
Mm-hmm.
and he loves C.J. Anderson. And this is the week where C.J. Anderson actually breaks
Get
out.
out of here.
And Ronnie Hillman. Ronnie Hillman gets his opportunities because he is good protecting Peyton Manning. He's good as a blocking running back covering blitz schemes. If you honestly think, which you do, that the Broncos are going to blow out the Raiders,
Yes.
then it's going to be C.J. Anderson time.
But who do you think is more of a head coach in Denver? Do you think it's Peyton Manning or Gary Kubiak?
I mean, offensive.
Who do you think has more say in the offensive plays that are called in Denver?
Well, after
Peyton Manning or Gary Kubiak? No, it's A or B. Gary Kubiak or Peyton Manning?
All right, I'll say Peyton.
Peyton Manning, and you just said, correct me if I'm wrong, you just said that Peyton Manning prefers Ronnie Hillman in his backfield because he's better at pass protection.
He does.
And
However, you're cutting your arguments both ways here. If you really think the Broncos are going to be up, they're going to do a ground control. That means they're not going to need Hillman in the backfield, but they're going to have C.J. Anderson. And they would desperately love C.J. Anderson to run really well against this ragged Raiders defense.
No, because if there's one thing that Peyton Manning does, it's reward hard work with his offense that he runs. And this, I'm telling you, C.J. Anderson has done absolutely nothing since week 10 last year. And he's out. Ronnie Hillman was averaging 7 yards a carry in the preseason. And this, I'm telling you, this is the week. Granted, Hillman hasn't had more than 11 carries this season in the regular season. But this is the game where he gets over 20. I'm telling you.
Well, you take away one huge run from Ronnie Hillman last week, and he has very pedestrian stats.
But his pedestrian stats are still better than CJ.
And he doesn't get the carries.
He's still averaging half a yard better than CJ Anderson.
When I hear that Hillman starts, then I'll play Hillman.
No, because a running back starting has nothing to do with game flow. All that a running back starting means is CJ Anderson is there for the first snap of the game. That's all of that means.
See, if I was going to argue for Hillman, I would have done it in a different way, which is that this is actually going to be a surprisingly close game again. I don't think the Broncos are going to blow out the Raiders.
I do. Well, I'm going to touch on this in a different segment, but I'm on record also as being a huge Derek Carr fan, but Denver's defense too good.
Yeah, they're the best. I think they're the best defense in the league,
hands down.
However, I think it'll be a closer game. I called last week that the Minnesota Broncos game would be a good game, and it was. And a lot of people thought maybe it would be a close game, but it was. Minnesota actually had a chance to win that game.
They did.
Aside from Adrian Peterson's breakout run, I think it was a 40-something yard run. Bridgewater looks solid. And I don't know right now. Bridgewater is more efficient, but Carr is a more, I think, exciting player and can make more big throws. I wouldn't be surprised if this is closer than people think.
Okay.
And if I was going to argue that for Hillman, then that would be what I would argue.
All right. Well, so let's just make this on record. So you're on record saying that C.J. Anderson will have a better game this week than Ronnie Hillman.
I'm on record saying C.J. Anderson will have a better game than Ronnie
And I'm on record that Ronnie Hillman will have a better game tan C.J. Anderson.
Oh, there we go.
And then you can tune in next week and see who is your go-to source for running backs.
Oh, boy. I really... Come on, C.J. Anderson. I hate you. Please do it. Please do it.
Hey,
I feel like I just made a bet on Trent Richardson.
Garrett, what's up?
Oh, God. Are we done with this segment?
Yeah, I'm done.
All right.
I mean, I can keep going, but I'm done.
No, you're done. All right, this is another segment of Burnt Coverage. I'm your host, Curtis.
And I am your running back go-to source. I'm Joel.
And we'll be here every week dispelling each other and arguing drunkenly about our picks for the week.
And dispelling is the right word.
I don't know words. All right, see you in the next segment or next week.
I'm the smart.
Bye. I'm the smart.
Well, I'm dispelling.
The spelling is a word.
It is a word, it's just not the proper usage of it.